We are so effing back. What's up, guys? Welcome back to It Can't Be For Nothing. It has been 2 years, 1 month since my Last of Us HBO show review, guys, which was the season one finale, March 13th of 2023. I'm now recording this April 13th, 2025, and this will most likely go up the next morning, guys. But we're so back, dude. Last of Us 2, my favorite game of all time. If you guys haven't seen the series before, welcome to the channel. If you haven't been to the channel, and guys, we got our special Last of Us 2 t-shirt. If I ever were to lose you, I'd surely lose myself. And guys, I will no doubt be crying during this season. I haven't even introduced myself. I'm all hyped up coming off of the season 2 premiere. My name is Kyle. Thanks for checking out Project Potter. Guys, go check out the other content. And what we're going to be doing, like I did in season 1, I'm going to give my thoughts on the series and then a score out of 10. And then what I'm going to be doing is taking scenes from the video game, in this case, Last of Us Part 2, and the show and matching them up as best I can. Now, a little special surprise for you guys. Last of Us Part 2, I've actually played through for the channel. It has not been released yet. So what I'm going to be doing is taking my footage from those scenes that has not been released yet as a little sneak peek and putting that in to match up with the scenes. So the series not released yet. My playthrough of Last of Us 2, my favorite game of all time. But you guys will get a little sneak peek. So also, guys, the lighting, I have my podcast light over here. Hopefully the shadows are okay. But thanks for checking out the channel, guys. Let's go. Full disclaimer, guys. I binged the entire first season leading directly into season 2. So it had been 2 years since I'd seen the episodes originally. I was like, you know what? Let me really get in the spirit of things. It's a Sunday. My schedule is clear. I want to binge season 1 literally right up into season 2. And so that's what I did. I started at noon. We finished around 9. Then we started up the season 2 finale. So I'm really, really glad I did that because not only is season 1 of The Last of Us just like a masterpiece, I really forgot it wasn't just a video game adaptation that was okay. It was really great, especially, I mean, the Bill and Frank episode, guys. Go check out my scores for all of the season 1 episodes. But because it had been 2 years since I've seen them, I remembered for the most part pretty much everything. But man, they are not afraid to use the game cue. I think it's Gustavo's music so often, and it makes it feel so authentic. And I'm sure I talked about that in season 1, but guys, because it's been 2 years since I reviewed this show, I don't remember what I said specifically. But the Bill and Frank episode, I just want to shout out season 3. Excuse me, season 1, episode 3 remains absolute pinnacle of television. I mean, that is a gut-wrenching, beautiful, emotional ride. And I got to tell you what, guys, from season 2, episode 1, as someone who loves this game so much, as someone who has said, I probably said before, but let me just put it on the record right now. The Last of Us Part 2, I think, is the greatest video game ever created, and it is my favorite game of all time. The Last of Us Part 2 affected me emotionally in a way no video game has ever done before. It's insane. I get emotional listening to Future Days, which we did not get in this episode, but maybe a little hint of that. I get emotional thinking about the game. I think it's a masterpiece story. Can't wait for you guys to see my full playthrough of Last of Us 2 that I've done months and months ago at this point, that will be releasing at some point in the future, I promise you. I love this game so much. I think it's incredible, and it just affects me emotionally in ways I can't describe. It feels like more than just a video game. I love these characters so much. So when we kick off here, there were certain scenes where, knowing the game so intimately, like when they go and see the bear. First of all, let's shout out to Dina, dude. Barbecue is hilarious. What do you call a bear's ribs?
Hey, what do you call grizzly's ribs? Barbecue.
Did you just make that up?
Yeah.
Barbecue?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Barbecue. And she's like, did you just make that up? Dina and Ellie's relationship nailed it, dude. I was so happy to see that because, first of all, everyone wants to complain. Lay off Bella Ramsey, okay? Bella Ramsey crushed season 1, okay? She was the perfect Ellie. Having just rewatched season 1, I was like, man, she really is Ellie. And Pedro Pascal, I didn't think it was anything special in season 1, like in my mind. But rewatching season 1, I'm like, man, they both crushed it. And it's like, that's Joel and Ellie. It's crazy. So many scenes I'm watching where I'm like, that's them, dude. And they're obviously a little bit different, but season 2, we got Bella Ramsey and Dina, and yeah, Bella still has a young face. But you know what, man? She is older Ellie, and her voice is a little different. She's also a little bit older, but she nails it, dude. I have no doubt that she's going to be fierce Ellie. I mean, when she tells Joel, I don't need your fucking help. part of me broke inside. And I knew that was coming too. Now, I was surprised that that scene came already in the pilot episode because we, as the players, don't get to see what happens there until towards the end of the game. So that's really interesting. And so the big thing going to season two was okay, I'm not going to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but there's a big event that happens in the game, a very controversial event. I think it's a fantastic. I think it really sets up the story, and I think everything is more powerful because of that event. But people are going, okay, it's like the thing, viewers who know, viewers who don't know. It's like that meme. And so the big question going into this season is number one, where are they going to put that in there? Are they going to follow the game? I hope they follow the game pretty strictly because rewatching season one, sure, they deviate a little bit. Bill and Frank, obviously, they have a different, well, we don't even see Frank in the game. And their story is beautiful and they have a different ending than the game where we run into Bill. I like them deviating a little bit. For the most part, season one, though, is pretty much point for point the game and including lines and framing shots and everything one for one. And as a huge fan of Last of Us, I love that, dude. I'm like, look, I don't want it to be a carbon copy, but I want you to hit the big points and I want to feel like I'm watching literally live action Last of Us, which is what we're doing. And once again, dude, they just nailed it. I mean, the scene where they go into I forget the supermarket name. It's like Wayman's or something. I forget. But when they go in there, first of all, really funny how Dina and Ellie are like being quiet and they're like doing the thing and they're like using like gestures towards each other. But I will say that scene was awesome. We also saw Kat, which I don't think we saw at all in the game. And so that was interesting. That was the girl that Ellie kind of had a fling with before, but she's like this artsy girl, and Dina's like, she left her mark on you. And I was like, oh, this is Kat. Like that's cool. That actually had a lot of context. Jesse, my boy Jesse, I will say at first I didn't love him because Jesse in the game is just amazing. He's such a cool character. The show switches up. The first switch up was when Ellie opens the door, she's playing the music, and then she's in the garage, she opens the door, and in the game, it's Jesse. And in the show, it's Dina. And I was like, okay, thought I was expecting Jesse there. Good little mix up. I like stuff like that, where like you're kind of playing with my expectations, where I'm like, oh, as someone who loves the game, I know what's going to happen, but it's like the order of those things might be different. And then they're obviously going to take some creative liberties, I'm sure. But again, I hope the big event they stick to because I think it adds so much to the story and really sets up the story. But we'll talk about that moment when we get there, or maybe not get there, but I'm sure we will, especially after this episode. When they were in the barn with the New Year's party, oh my God, dude, I literally was all sobbing because I was like, wow, I know this is one of my favorite scenes, that scene where it comes down behind Ellie and there's these beautiful lights. And I remember when they first showed the trailer for season two, I was like, oh, dude, they're doing this scene. And it's so perfectly done. And it's like, I feel like it's a weird feeling because it's like, I know the scene in the game so well. So I know what's going to happen in the live action, but so there's like a familiarity with it. But then it was executed so perfectly where it's like I feel like even though I love Dina in the game, first of all, Dina absolute baddie, she's the best. Her relationship with Ellie is amazing. And so this new Dina, I liked her right away when she was like talking to Joel about the watch or whatever, the spring he's fixing, and then she's like, "Why are you mad at her or whatever?" Or why is she mad at you? And but then like that scene where she's dancing, and she's wearing the red, and it's like she looks great behind me. That was so one for one from the game. And then like the guy who plays Jesse is back there, and he's like in a cool like shirt now, and it's like he's leaning back, and like I felt like he had like his swagger that he had in the game, and I'm like, oh, dude, this is one for one for the game, and I was so happy to see that, and like I was invested, I was into that scene, like I mean, I was into the whole show because it's just so well done, especially with HBO. But like that scene, I feel like I was entranced because I was like, oh my God, this is so special. Like I can't believe they made this, even though something like The Last of Us that, is based on reality, where it's like the assets are real and the graphics are great. So it's not like you're adapting a cartoon. I'm watching this and especially watching season one right before it. I'm like, man, I can't believe that they nailed so many things. And it makes sense because Neil is like directing everything, dude. But it's like you still have to execute it, right? And the actors still have to deliver the lines and it still has to be framed correctly. And I'm so happy that they nailed it because there is a familiarity and there's also a sense of dread. Things that just hit me when they showed Joel's mailbox. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it just, there's certain frames that they know the fans know about and they're just hitting it. But That whole barn scene was awesome. Yeah, the clicker scene in there. I forget that Ellie falls through the floor because it's been a little bit since I played. So like when Ellie's like, "Oh, you gotta check out this," and she falls through the floor, I was like, "Oh." But I will say another switch up point, guys, very smart. The stalkers are introduced in the thing, and that's really cool because there's like a council board, whatever, with Tommy and his wife, who I think is a new actress for season two. I'd have to double check that, but I don't think it's the same woman who played Maria in season one, which was interesting. They have this council board, and it's so cool that Ellie goes. First of all, it's so well done. Where she's like, "Run at me, fucker," and I'm like, "Dude, that's what you say when you're playing the game. Like when you're playing the game as Ellie, and you're scared and you're tense in those moments, and then like you see them like the stalkers going around, they're so quiet. Like if you're playing like me, I'd be like, "Come on, fucker! Like let's go! Like come at me, dude. I'll mess you up." And so for Ellie to say, "Run at me, fucker," I was like, "Oh, that's awesome, dude." Because like if you're playing the game, that's what you would say. So I thought that was really interesting. That scene was so well done with the stalker going through and they're so quiet and Ellie gets bit. And, as the audience, we're like, okay, well, we're not concerned because we know Ellie's immune in that funny scene at the beginning where she's like, "I'm immune." And Tommy's like, "Oh my God, it's like you and Joel are the same person." She has to like dig her bite out or she has to like cut her bite because she can't just have a bite mark, right? Because people would be like, like, nobody knows she's infected, even though she's got that huge iconic tattoo over her arm now. And I think she says it's like a burn. I thought that was super well done, and it just the quality, the asset quality, and like the cinematography and everything in HBO was so incredible. Also, guys, shout out to the woman from Schitt's Creek. Now, Schitt's Creek, my whole family loves it. I've only seen clips of it, and I know everybody loves Schitt's Creek, but that woman, Gail, who is, I think, a new character. I don't think there's Gail in the game. She's Joel's therapist, and she's drinking, and she's like, "You know what? You got to say things that you're afraid of." And she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna say it, even though I'm scared to." And she's like, "You killed my fucking husband, and now you're sitting in my house." And she's like, "I hate you for that." She's like, "I'm trying to forgive, but I can't because you killed my husband in the way you did it." And it's like, oh, that's so good. Oh, she said her husband is Eugene, who obviously I don't want to spoil things, but we get mention of Eugene. We never see Eugene in the game. I think we see a picture of him though in the game. And there's things that lead to us discovering him, and I don't want to say anything because they're probably gonna get to that maybe next episode, but her being Eugene's husband is really cool because that connects it. And then that scene, I was like tearing up because Joel is like, he's tearing up and he's like, "I'll just come back." And she's like, "No, say what you want to say." And then she's like, "Did you hurt her?" And he's like, "No." And then they pause and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna say it, dude." I was like, I didn't think they were gonna say it right here, but he's gonna say what he says to Tommy in the beginning,
I saved her.
where he says,
I saved her.
"I saved her." And I was like, "Oh." And it's just anytime they hit these scenes from the game one for one, I just like get so emotional because I'm like, man, it gives me chills every time. And just talking about it is so exciting because again, guys, it's my favorite game of all time. At the time of this recording now, The Last of Us came out 5 years ago, Last of Us Part Two. And it's just incredible. And I just think it's a masterpiece, and I'm so excited for the show. I know it's split into 2 seasons, so I'm sure we're gonna be held on a cliffhanger every Sunday night. I'm gonna be tuning in, like, is this gonna be the episode? But I'm not gonna spoil anything. Also, guys, shout out to Caitlin Dever. Oh my God, immediately crushing it as Abby. Like the biggest thing. I won't say things about the game too much, guys, but Abby is one of the more controversial characters. People don't exactly love Abby. I love Abby. I love Abby's story, but the hardest part, I think, or one of the challenges for them when they cast Caitlin Dever, who I don't really know her from stuff, but look wise, I was like, oh, she nailed it, and she looks just like Abby. The rest of her crew, I don't really love. The guy who played like kind of Abby's love interest in the game, I loved his character model in the game. I didn't love his actor here, but I'm sure it'll grow on me. But they nailed Caitlin Dever as Abby. Oh my God, dude. I was like, she's so fierce and intense right away. And I feel like they just know they have something special with that because they spend a little bit of time. We didn't get much time, but although the episode does end with her looking over Jackson. And so there's more to come, I'm sure. And we'll see how quickly things escalate. But man, she was excellent. And I was like, I want more of Abby because of her story, but also like Caitlin Dever was awesome. So end with that plant that's kicked over and there's cordyceps. And I'm like, are you saying there's cordyceps in the plant? Does that mean that everybody is it in the soil? Now remember season one, guys, they had that cool twist on the show where they said like if you step on a cordyceps like thing, it grows underground. If you step on it, like it alerts all of them. And that was so cool. And we obviously saw the bloater in season one. So there's one very big boss that like people were asking, like, is this going to be in season two? I'm sure it will. I think it's such a crazy boss that it might not be in season two. It might be in season three, which is basically part two of Last of Us 2. But I fully expect that boss to be in it. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Well, if you know, you know. But yeah, excellent, excellent pilot. It did that thing where I just wanted to play episode two right away. Like I'm sad that I have to wait a week to watch episode two. But man, that scene where Seth is there and they cast Seth great too because his character is like he looks like Seth, if you guys know what I mean. But maybe we'll get a Bigot sandwich in the future. But him saying that after this amazing moment with Dina and Ellie, and Dina has that line where she says, sorry, I don't want to skip over that scene, which was incredible, where Ellie's like, Dina, every guy in this room is looking at you right now. And she's like, how do you know they're not looking at you? And Ellie's like, they're not. And she's like, well, maybe they should be. Maybe they're jealous of you. And she's like, why? I'm not scary. And she's like, oh, Ellie, I think they should be terrified of you. And it's like, oh, it's a line, man. It's so good. And then obviously they have that moment ruined by Seth, and Joel comes in and pushes her, and it's like, oh, that protective thing. We know Joel and Ellie are having problems right now, and it's again, as someone who knows the story, I don't know how much they're going to differ from it, but I'm just like, it's like with a heavy heart I'm watching this, but I'm so excited too because I love this game and I love this story so much that I'm like, I'm just so excited to see what they do with it. And in Neil and HBO, I trust, man, because they delivered another home run, and I cannot wait for episode two. Okay, guys, so for a score for the first episode, I'm going to say it's a 9-2. Now, the only reason I'm not putting it higher is because it was a little slow. Now, it was so well done, but we basically had the the barbecue scene, right? Which was great. Really, really well done. I thought Jesse, real quick, guys, I thought Jesse's like big scene where they're going out for a patrol and he's like, you see anything worse? Come back. That's such a cool moment in the game. And then I think the music kicks in and it's like this epic moment. I feel like Jesse's delivery, and that's why I'm glad he redeemed himself in the barn. The guy who plays Jesse, while still cool, although he had this hat on and stuff, I feel like he looked so much cooler in the barn, and I was like, that's my Jesse. Hashtag my Jesse. But I feel like his line delivery was was a little awkward. I feel like it was a little too loosey goosey, and I know they were like making fun of him, like, oh, let me guess, check the patrol routes and sign the log, right? And he's like, yeah, okay. I like them making fun of Ellie, where they're like, oh, she looks like Curtis and Viper or whatever, and she's like, what the fuck, like, because she's like bringing her guns on and stuff. So I think that was all awesome. But the bear scene and then the barn scene, obviously, and then obviously Joel and Ellie, their relationship, and Joel and Gail's therapist thing and how that's going, and man, dude, it's slow, but it's like it's got to set everything up, and it just reminded me like, hey, we got you. Like you're in great hands, dude. HBO and Neil once again took care of it. I mean, it's their most popular game of all time. Neil loves Last of Us 1 and 2, but really 2, I feel like a baby, like a lot of us do. And so he's going to treat that with care, and he's going to make sure he does it right. And the show is so popular. And I'm glad that the show is hopefully gonna do really well because that means we're probably gonna get a Last of Us 3. Well, first of all, we're getting Last of Us 3, right? Sometime. We already know that. Like Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet looks awesome. Naughty Dog's next game. But Last of Us 3, like give it to me. Now I think the way Last of Us 2 ends, I think you could stop it there. But realistically, like they'd be stupid not to go off of the momentum of the HBO show and Last of Us 3, and they just released Last of Us Complete, which is just 1 and 2 for PS5. So amazing stuff, guys. But I think it is like it sets up the groundwork, the cordyceps groundwork of like, yeah, this is Jackson. I will say, I wish that we hadn't seen Jackson in season one somehow, because, or I wish they kept it under wraps, because imagine the first time we saw Jackson in season two, and it's like, whoa, this looks just like the game. When we saw in season one, I was like, oh yeah, that's Jackson, but that's from like part two. So going back to Jackson, it still looked great, but and especially with the mountains and everything in the back. But I was like, oh yeah, we've seen Jackson already. But I just love that little town community, and Joel's like fixing up stuff, and he's got his glasses on, and Gail's like, oh, your 19-year-old non-daughter is not talking to you. Yeah, that's every 19-year-old girl ever. Just really, really awesome stuff. Super high quality, and again, it leaves you with Abby going on the perch. That event that's coming, is it going to be in episode 2? I don't know. We'll find out, guys, but an excellent, excellent first episode. And I think the only reason I'm not scoring higher just because I feel like they had to kind of set everything up this episode, and then I think it's going to be all gas, no brakes going forward. So still an amazing episode, though. All right, guys, well, that is the episode of It Can't Be For Nothing. We are back after 2 years and 1 month to the day This will go up the next day. Hopefully if I can edit everything on time. But I'm gonna, like I said, guys, I'm gonna be taking gameplay from my Last of Us 2 playthrough that has not yet been released, that will be released at a later date. I'm gonna announce everything at a later date. Plenty of content coming, guys. Bear with me. I know that on the channel I haven't been posting a lot of stuff lately. I have been working my tail off on a ton of future content that will be revealed at a later date. But guys, this is first episode of the second season of It Can't Be For Nothing. I'm so in, dude. I'm so in. This series is going to undoubtedly destroy me emotionally again, just like the game did. But it's just such a beautiful and raw and powerful story, and I'm curious to see how much they change of it. And I'm sure there'll be a cliffhanger for the third season, which is split up. I'm glad they split it up into seasons 2 and 3. It sucks as consumers having to wait. We'll probably have to wait another 2 years after season 2 ends, but I think they're doing it justice by giving this story the proper time and space and care. So thanks for checking out the channel, guys. Go check out the other content. There's not much of it now, but I promise a lot is coming. So appreciate you guys. Until next time, our future days.